Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing this summer? A brand new phone with Verizon. Yep, get a new phone on any plan with Select Phone Trade-in and My Plan. And lock down a low price for 3 years on any plan with My Plan. This is a deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate only. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
NetCredit is here to say yes to a personal loan or line of credit when other lenders say no. Apply in minutes and get a decision as soon as the same day. Loans offered by NetCredit or lending partner banks and serviced by NetCredit. Application subject to review and approval. Learn more at netcredit.com/partner. NetCredit. Credit to the people.
You'll get more than you expect with McValue at McDonald's. Like deals on your late night go-tos when the party goes till dawn. And savings on their faves. So date night always passes the vibe check. Plus, when the fam shows up for the weekend, you can show out for breakfast.
Buy one breakfast sandwich, add one for $1. Only in the app. Limited time only at participating McDonald's. Valid once a day. Must opt into rewards. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing this summer? A brand new phone with Verizon. Yep, get a new phone on any plan with Select Phone Trade-in and My Plan. And lock down a low price for 3 years on any plan with My Plan. This is a deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate only. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
Hey, this is Freddie from Dungeons and Daddies. And if you're like me, buying anything turns into a nightmare research spiral. But listen, if you're trying to upgrade your phone, I'm about to save you from yourself. Because right now, you can get the new iPhone 16e with Apple Intelligence for when you switch at your nearest Boost Mobile store. That's a brand spanking new iPhone 16e for the incredible price of $49.99. Plus, you're getting all the latest Apple Intelligence features too, like Cleanup, which removes distractions from photos with just a tap. Visit your nearest Boost Mobile store for full offer details. Apple Intelligence requires iOS 18.1 or later. Restrictions apply.
Hello, I'm Sarah, and welcome to day 14 of 14 Days of Summer Fear. We are at the end. I really hope you've enjoyed these stories, the summer ones, because I love them. This time of year, I'm all about the cornfields and hiking and spooky stuff and folk horror and all that type of stuff. I really love it this time of year. In fact, I might have to go back and watch The Living and the Dead again, just for old time's sake. I do it every year. Right, I've got 2 spooky stories to share today. I'll get straight into them. Are you ready for the first story? I went hiking again, but I definitely wasn't alone. I thought hiking alone was terrifying, but now I think hiking with another person is worse. If they even were a person. For context, make sure you go check out my other post. Assuming you've read that post, you know how terrifying my solo hike a few days ago was. You'll also know that despite that experience, I was planning to go ahead with another solo hike this last Friday. I got a lot of advice, but the main thing everyone seemed to agree on was that I should be careful, and that if the trail was as deserted as last time, I shouldn't go. And I agreed with all of you. I figured I'd be very careful to listen to any gut feelings I had. If anything felt even a little bit off, I'd get out immediately. I did all the same careful preparation as the first time. and even a little bit more. I packed up food and water, told multiple people where I was hiking, and made sure to have a paper and digital copy of the map. I also packed a small knife, a compass, a flashlight, a panic whistle, and a battery pack, so I could recharge my phone if it died again. I did some research and made sure that there were no dangerous predators in the area, and even did a brief search to double-check that there were no major reports of cryptids or paranormal experiences in the area. I felt I was ready for anything, and that even if I had a repeat experience, I'd be prepared. But my hike from a couple of days ago was almost the polar opposite of my first one. Instead of a grey, rainy day, the weather was beautiful and sunny. When I got to Starved Rock State Park, rather than a quiet, deserted forest, I found a busy, popular tourist destination. The parking lot for the visitor centre, which doubles as my trailhead, was packed with cars, and I saw over a dozen people start or finish their hikes, just in the time it took me to park my car and gather up my stuff. Instead of overgrown with dense foliage, the trails were wide and allowed visibility for hundreds of feet in any direction. Instead of a lonely 12-mile loop, I was only hiking 4.5 miles, and I only ever went a couple of minutes at a time without seeing someone heading in one direction or another. Everything seemed perfect. It wasn't until the hike was over that I realised how wrong I was. Within the first 15 minutes, I had relaxed almost completely. I found myself nearly laughing out loud with the relief of knowing this hike would be better. The birds were singing, the mosquitoes were buzzing, and the views were fantastic. The hike I did took me past several canyons, which is incredible for Illinois, and it seemed every other bend of the trail led to some awesome photo op. It was at the first of these awesome views that I met the woman. As I rounded the corner of the trail to find myself at the entrance to French Canyon, she was just standing there, staring across the dried up stream bed towards the canyon wall. At the time, I didn't think too much of it. It was a pretty cool view, and I considered stopping myself to take a picture or two. As I began to step towards her, she instantly turned towards me and smiled. "Oh, am I in your way? Feel free to pass me. I'll stay out of your way." She was an older woman. I'd have guessed maybe in her 60s, although she was clearly very healthy and athletic. She was wearing a black t-shirt, jeans and hiking boots, and had long grey hair tied back in a ponytail. I didn't look too closely at the shirt, but I thought I saw some event in Chicago, which made sense enough. Her smile was friendly, and her greeting felt just like any number of brief exchanges I've had with fellow hikers in the past. "Oh, no worries," I replied. After all, the trail was plenty wide for me to pass her without issue. "It really is a great view. Maybe I'll stop and take a picture too," I laughed, pulling out my phone. "Oh, it really is," she agreed. "Have you been here before?" "I've been here more times than I can count. You should really come back in the winter. It's so beautiful then, very quiet and peaceful. Too many people here this time of year." I smiled politely back and told her that no, this was my first time. I thanked her for the advice and continued down the path into the mouth of the canyon. It quickly led to a dead end, and I realised that the main trail must go up and around the side of the canyon. But I didn't mind the little detour. having the huge rock walls towering above me on all sides, made for an awesome spot to stop for a quick drink of water. I stood, enjoying the silence for a moment, before turning around to double back and found that same woman standing right there. It's a shame the waterfall is dried up. You should really make sure you go to La Salle Canyon. The waterfall is almost definitely still flowing, she said, seemingly oblivious to the fact that she had sneaked up behind me. I had already been planning to go to La Salle. In fact, it was the main destination of my hike, and I told her so. She, in response, pulled out a map of the park that I recognised from the visitor centre and started giving me directions. At this point, I decided that this was just a nice, friendly old lady who really loved nature and struggled a bit with picking up on the social cues of someone who'd prefer to be left alone. But I didn't want to be rude, so I let her walk me through the hike I'd already planned on doing, before thanking her and turning to go. As I began to walk out of the canyon, she called after me, "If you have time, you should really go to the St. Louis Canyon too. It's fantastic." I knew I didn't have the time, but I nodded and said I'd see if I could fit it in. After I left the woman at the bottom of the dead waterfall, the next mile or so passed uneventfully. I took the shortest path towards La Salle Canyon and passed about 9 overlooks, 3 or 4 trail intersections, and at least 50 other hikers. Eventually I got to the last trail intersection before the La Salle Canyon, and the same woman from before was standing there again. I was more than a little confused. How did she pass me? I was moving pretty quick, and I knew I took the shortest path from French Canyon to where I was now. She definitely didn't pass me along the way either. I eventually decided she must have taken one of the longer paths and managed to just barely beat me to the intersection because I'd stopped to take pictures at a few of the viewpoints. She greeted me warmly, like an old friend. "Oh, it's you. I was just trying to get a picture of this dragonfly, but it flew away." I didn't see a dragonfly or a camera, but I assumed she must have just put her phone in her pocket. "Ready for La Salle?" I was a little disappointed to realise that she intended to hike the last stretch with me. She certainly seemed nice enough, and it's not like I was worried she'd attack me or anything. She was just a little more talkative than I might have liked. I nodded, and together we crossed the stone bridge that led to the canyon trail. Initially, I tried picking up the pace enough to just naturally leave her behind, but she kept up without issue. She kept up a steady stream of conversation. "Are you from around here? Where are you from? What do you do for work?" On and on she went, with the kind of surface-level questions you ask when you're first getting to know somebody. I'd answer the questions, and trying to be nice, I'd occasionally ask her about herself. "Oh, I live right around here. I actually come here for the first time 60 years ago." "Oops, showing my age a little," she chuckled. "My work keeps me pretty active, so I'm lucky to still be able to spend time in the woods. Lately, I've been trying out other forests, though." As I listened to her voice behind me, I rounded one last corner and found myself staring at what would have been the waterfall in La Salle Canyon. But, like the other would-be falls in the park, this one was dried up. The trail ended here, and I walked right up to where a few droplets of water still fell from where the falls used to be. I realised the woman was still talking behind me. "Have you ever been to the Red Cedar Trail?" I froze. It had to be a coincidence, right? I mean, the internet did say it was a popular trail, although my trip didn't really seem to support that theory. Still, surely she couldn't have known that I had just hiked the Red Cedar Trail a few days ago. And she certainly couldn't have known how bad of an experience it was. I came up with all of these explanations for myself in less than a second, but my danger sense had gone from 0 to 100 in the blink of an eye. I slowly turned to see the old woman smiling at me, and for the first time, her smile didn't seem warm and friendly. It seemed cruel. We stared at each other for what felt like minutes, but could only have been a few seconds, before I heard the snapping of a branch from back the way we'd came. The woman's head snapped back around, and we both saw the group of 3 middle-aged guys walk in, chatting about some sports game. I might have imagined it, but I swear the old woman growled before smiling and saying, "I'll get out of your way in case you want to take pictures. It really is a pain where there's too many people in this canyon," and she walked away. I just kind of stood there for a while, waiting to calm down. When the trio of hikers were done taking their pictures and turned to go, I made sure to follow pretty close behind. I stayed near their group all the way back to the parking lot, close enough that they'd definitely hear if I called out. The 2-mile walk gave me plenty of time to think about what had actually happened in the last hour or so, and I realised a few things that made me worried. First, with the exception of the moment when the 3 guys walked into the canyon, every moment I'd spent with the woman, we'd been completely alone. With the sheer amount of people I'd seen on the trail, it felt like there was no way that could have been a coincidence. Second, I realised just how much this woman had seemed to want me to go to the most remote point in this set of trails. She had recommended it repeatedly, given me directions to it, and even walked the final stretch with me. And finally, I realised just how much I'd told this strange woman about myself. I told her my name and how old I was. I told her what state and even what city I was from. I told her what I did for work. And meanwhile, I hadn't even gotten her name, let alone any solid details about who she was. Everything she said about herself was vague at best. All I knew for sure was that she liked being in the woods. Luckily, the return trip was pretty uneventful. As I walked across the parking lot to my car, I tried to shake off the bad feelings and told myself I should focus on the first half of the hike. I'd had a good time and gotten lots of great pictures to share with family and friends when I got home. Then I saw the sheet of paper folded up and tucked under one of my windshield wipers. I pulled it out, hoping it wasn't some kind of parking ticket, but it was a map from the visitor centre. Someone had circled La Salle Canyon and drawn a couple of arrows in what looked like black Sharpie, and on the other side was a short note. It read, "Thanks for the fun. See you soon." I've been home for about a day now, and I'm trying not to worry too much. I mean, I live in a pretty big city, and it's not like I gave that woman my address or anything. I'm hoping that this is all nothing. Maybe this lady really was just a nice old woman trying to make a friend, and I was overreacting. Maybe the note on my car was meant for someone else. It's not like there were disembodied children's voices and phantom footsteps like my last hike. Everything could have a reasonable explanation. I'll definitely keep triple checking the locks on my doors and windows though. Edit. So I know I just posted this a little bit ago, but on a hunch, I did some research on the St. Louis Canyon that the old lady recommended. It turns out that back in 1960, 3 women were found dead in the canyon. A guy was arrested and found guilty, but he spent his entire life claiming that he was framed and that he's innocent. I don't want to make light of these deaths or anything, but with everything that's been happening to me, I really don't like the fact that this creepy old woman tried to send me to the location of a relatively infamous triple homicide. That was great, wasn't it? Just keep your eyes out now, folks. The creepy older women in the woods. Because you never know what they're up to. Just keep your eye out for everybody and everything. Anything that moves. I must mention this as well. When I was walking Luna in the woods the other day, I heard this really strange barking noise. And I thought, that's not a dog. What is it? And it was actually a deer. A young stag. And it was barking. And I don't know if it was warning us. I mean, I wasn't going to go anywhere near it anyway. And nor was Luna. She was frightened. So we just kind of like hung back in the woods and it did its barking thing. And then it just kind of took off. But it was lovely to see. It really was. I'd never heard that before. Are you ready for the second story? Petrified and looking for opinions. I've been a skeptic ever since knowing of these things. I've avoided saying the word in the subtitle, and whenever they're mentioned, I abruptly stop the conversation and do everything in my power to distract myself from the word in order to prevent them being driven towards me. For this reason, I'll be using the word creature instead. Frankly, I'm not entirely sure if this thing really was an SW. It could have been something similar, but I digress. These are the one things that I have consistently avoided since adolescence. At writing, it's 3:11 a.m. This occurred about 20 minutes ago. I was on my way home from a friend's place, a bit groggy and feeling a bit down. I live about 30 minutes away in a small rural area. I try to keep good eye on the roads at this time, as we live in deer country and I don't want to hit anything. Throughout the drive, I did so like normal, and all was well, until turning off the highway into the road leading to my house. There is a large low visibility hill right at the intersection to said road. As I crossed the horizon of the hill, there was this creature, sitting motionless, tongue out, staring at my vehicle. It took the form of a dog, sort of brown and black, splotchy. However, I'm 100% certain this was not a dog. Its eyes were large and lifeless. It didn't move. Only a twitch of the ear was visible. That's the only way I knew it was real. It was hunched over, like some sort of gargoyle. Initially, I went to honk at it, but as some of my fingers grazed my horn, I was paralysed in fear. I couldn't move. It was just there, hauntingly staring. It was the eyes, the absolutely ungodly eyes. Dread consumed me, and I hit the gas and turned onto the road. This is a gravel road, mind you. I sped all the way home, about 4 kilometres away, and have locked myself in my room ever since. I can't move, and sure as heck can't sleep. I don't understand why this creature was drawn to me. Perhaps my avoidance drove it closer. Nonetheless, I'm absolutely petrified and certain that this thing was not a dog or anything of the sort. I apologise if this writing is poor. I'm terrified and not thinking straight, and sure as heck not going to sleep anytime soon. Any thoughts would be great. For a little more information, I live near the Rocky Mountains, if it helps.
Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing this summer? A brand new phone with Verizon. Yep, get a new phone on any plan with Select Phone Trade-in and My Plan. And lock down a low price for 3 years on any plan with My Plan. This is a deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate only. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
Hey, this is Jonathan Fields, host of the Good Life Project podcast. Boost Mobile reminds me of what I love, when someone reimagines what's possible. Offering reliable nationwide coverage backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. While other carriers spend millions on flashy Super Bowl ads, Boost Mobile puts those dollars towards what matters more, delivering reliable nationwide coverage at prices that make you wonder why we've been paying so much. For just $25 a month, you get unlimited service that will never go up in price, not next year, not ever. And they're so confident you'll love it, they back it with a 30-day money-back guarantee, no questions asked. Want to see if Boost Mobile is right for you? Visit your nearest Boost Mobile store or boostmobile.com. Customers who cancel within 30 days of activation will have Boost service fees refunded, activation fees if applicable, and phone payments will not be refunded.
And also, be mindful of those strange creatures when you're driving back late at night on these summer evenings. Well, that is the final story of 14 Days of Summer Fear. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll be back again next year with the 2 weeks of summer scary stories. Just the same. Episodes will resume as normal from tomorrow, so we'll be back with the main episode and then just the normal weekly episodes. And just a quick reminder as well, the haunted episodes, because they were just a summer thing, they will end in September, and that will bring us into Halloween and spooky season, where we've got 31 days of Halloween with an episode every day for October. Take care, everyone.
Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing this summer? A brand new phone with Verizon. Yep, get a new phone on any plan with Select Phone Trade-in and My Plan. And lock down a low price for 3 years on any plan with My Plan. This is a deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies to then current base monthly rate only. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
Hi, this is Kim and Penn Holderness from the Laugh Lines podcast. Boost Mobile offers the same nationwide coverage, network speed, and service consumers are used to, but at more affordable prices. Why pay more if you don't have to?
Boost Mobile offering reliable nationwide coverage backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. Love your service or get your money back, no questions asked.
While other carriers blow millions on Super Bowl ads, we put that money to work for you, delivering reliable 99% nationwide coverage at affordable prices.
Start saving on wireless today with Boost Mobile's unlimited plans starting at just $25 a month.
The Boost Mobile network, together with their roaming partners, cover 99% of the U.S. population. 5G speeds not available in all areas.
Visit your nearest Boost Mobile store or find us online at boostmobile.com.
Customers who cancel within 30 days of activation will have Boost service fees refunded. Activation fees, if applicable, and phone payments will not be refunded.
Choice Hotels gets you more for your money so you can maximize any road trip. Like with the road trippers we see here in their natural habitat, the breakfast area at a Comfort Inn. Here's a dad teaching his son how to make waffles, fluffy golden waffles. There's a mom making sure her daughter eats some fruit to avoid the "I'm hungry" from the back seat. And a sibling standoff over the last muffin. This is the cycle of vacation maximizationing in all its glory. Check into more. Book direct at choicehotels.com.